Welcome back to another episode of the Co-Extrusion Podcast. How are you doing, JJ?
I'm doing good.
Good. Okay, so I have been out of the game for a little bit. However, I saw an email recently from Prusa where they officially released the index on the Core 1.
Yeah.
And that kind of opens the door for a lot of discussion.
Yeah. I think it's exciting that they are using index. It sort of proves that index is everything we're hoping it can be, because it looks like a really awesome product. And that Prusa is like, yeah, we're just going to use theirs instead of developing our own in-house sort of, don't reinvent the wheel if something really great is there to use, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good point that I hadn't really even considered. Prusa had really, like, I don't know if they leaked it or if it was just rumors that they were going to use the index, but I think it's wonderful that they are going the index route, like, officially, because, like, as you mentioned, I mean, they don't really have to do much of the debugging and bug work of, I guess, I don't know if that's a firmware related side. They just have to get the firmware from Bontech and integrate it, right? I'm sure there's some, I know integration is going to have some, like, code hell or whatever, but I mean, I feel like they're cutting out a very large chunk of it, the hardware development and most of the firmware development, right? They just take a package and, like, bolt it on. And
and the fine-tuning it for their printer, of course, is going to be really important, especially for making it kind of like Prusa is their one thing of it just works out of the box. Like, it's supposed to be really smooth and efficient. And so tuning it in, I think, is great that they can do it to tune it well for their machines, that people get it out of the box and it just works to swap between however many. I've seen the video with 8 different tool heads on there, or if we can call it tool heads. They're not full tool heads.
Nozzles.
That's what it is.
Yes,
yeah.
Just 8 nozzles, which, okay, this to me is really kind of wonderful because Prusa, they're usually kind of slower to integrate certain features and firmware upgrades and whatever. Bamboo might jump on it first and, dare I say, invent it. But Prusa is always going to come in with it later, but they're going to have it really dialed in. Well, with them outsourcing the multi-nozzle or multi-tool functionality, we don't yes, I understand Bamboos and Creality have had the CFSs for a while, but, like, in terms of multi-tools, Prusa's here right at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
They're at the beginning, right? I mean, we can talk about this a little bit later, but, Bamboo, they have their Vortec system.
The H2C is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
The H2C. But they're the only ones right now. And so now Prusa, for the first time in probably years, they're like, they've got something before pretty much anyone else.
Yeah. It kind of sets the stage with these 3 tool, whether it's a tool changer or a nozzle changer, they're all really similar. This, like, paradigm shifts in multicolor printing with Prusa, Bamboo Lab, and Snapmaker, and they all kind of do different things a little bit. Maybe we should cover the overview theory differences between these printers. That the Prusa's Bontech, it uses up to 8 different nozzles with different filament strands connected straight into those nozzles. So there's never any cutting of these filaments. It just grabs a different nozzle, heats it up, starts printing with it, cools it down, docks it, grabs the next one, heats it up, and keeps going. Bamboo, I think, is a really surprising,
unique,
different than a lot of people were expecting, where with it fully cuts the filament when it's done with it, mounts that nozzle on this special rack they've developed, grabs the new nozzle with a different color in it, heats that nozzle up, has to get the new color all the way from the AMS extruded down to the nozzle, re-merge those 2 filaments in the melt zone. And so there's going to be a little bit, it has to print in a prime tower, which I think all of these, a prime tower will improve print quality for sure. But that added slowness of docking a nozzle, grabbing a new nozzle, retracting a filament all the way, getting the filament back from the AMS. So a lot of time.
it's time, and so I haven't used an H2C, and I admittedly haven't really watched a ton of the videos,
Mhm.
but theoretically, within firmware, once bamboo starts, or once they cut the filament, they can start retracting it
Mhm.
immediately while they're unloading the old nozzle and loading the new one in. And
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if they're doing that now. If they're not, that can obviously be something that's put in as like a time saver firmware upgrade in the
Mhm.
future. It is really weird though, right? Like we go, like you see the index and it's like minimum possible hardware upgrades to get the maximum possible experience.
Mhm.
And then you go the Snapmaker U1 route, which you didn't, explain. I think a lot of people
Yes.
know, but
Yeah.
for those that don't, the Snapmaker method is like a whole entire tool head. It's the literally everything.
Yeah,
And it goes
extruder
in it.
all the way down to the
Yeah,
nozzle for individual of those. So it is more expensive to
exactly.
have more of those, but they've found a way to put 4 of them on there for a reasonable price.
Sure.
So,
So yeah, so you go the index route and it's like minimum possible hardware. Then you
mhm.
have the um the bamboo route, and it's I don't know. Actually now that I'm thinking about this out loud, they don't have the it's like less, it's even less hardware because they
Mhm.
don't have the PTFE tube. But because you don't
Yeah.
have the PTFE tube to have as a custom strand of filament, now it requires all the, sucking of the filament back. I don't know.
Mhm.
It Now that I'm thinking of this out loud, I'm realizing this is, I don't know. It is a very weird solution.
Yeah, they are all a little bit different. And I don't know which one's best yet. Like I think it'll be 100 hours into all of them before it's like, oh, which one has minimal issues or mistakes or best print quality is really going to
Yeah.
see. Because it's true, yes, like the bamboo seems like it'll be the slowest out of the solutions, but if slower provides a better print quality, then sometimes, especially for multicolored prints, where it's like, I want this print to look as awesome as possible back here.
Yeah.
Cool. If it takes 2 days instead of 3 days, I would. I'd rather take 3 days and make a beautiful print than 2 days and it look fine.
Well, and I know this is maybe getting into like the nitty gritty that probably most people aren't really going to be looking into, but with the route of the Snapmaker U1, I think what they've done is absolutely incredible, but it does look a little bit more wild and crazy because like you have to stow away the extra tool heads, and then you've got 4 Bowden tubes going into each one, and
Hmm.
takes up it takes up more space. And I mean that's a chunky head. You got all the extra weight from the tool head, so like
Hmm.
with the core one, you can fit up to 8 nozzles or tools or whatever you want to call it, which probably those 8 tools weigh less than an individual
Yeah.
Snapmaker U1 mod. Like, so it, the U1 route, while they've done something absolutely incredible, it looks a little wild and it's a little uncontrollable. If you have something go wrong, it's probably more tedious to replace, right? If you have
Hmm.
one tool head go out, um, then fixing that one tool head is more. You got to remove the cover of that one and start disassembling things. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if one of them doesn't work, you still have 3. You
Yeah,
still
you
print
could still
3
do
colors of
full
material.
three
So
color printing and
yeah,
no issues. Versus if you only have one print head, then if that one print head has an issue, the
yeah,
heater goes out, the little boards inside of there die for some reason.
yeah. On
You're
the
done.
H2C
Yeah.
or on the Core One with the index, if you have a critical component fail in your tool head, you can't print until you fix it. So I don't know. It's very interesting. There's uh, different price points,
Hmm.
different capabilities, and what's weird is like whenever multi-material printing first, or multicolor printing material, whatever you want to call it, first
Yeah.
came out, it was everyone's solution was the exact same. And
Yeah.
generally speaking, they're still the exact same, right? Like you've got 4 different extruders pushing filament into one Bowden tube,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Well, now on the onset of multi-tools, the first 3 printers on the market for consumers
Hmm.
all adopt a very different, like a dare I say, a completely different strategy.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Just really cool as a consumer that it's not, for the last several years, everyone's new printer is like, okay, we can call it a Bamboo clone because it's a Core XY machine with a box with 4 filaments in it.
Yeah.
It cuts and purges between filaments. Like, cool, whatever.
So there is another benefit to going the Prusa route with the index, and that's that. And I this is another reason why I think this is just incredible for, dare I say, Prusa outsourcing multi tools, or really it's Bondtech creating such an incredible system.
Yeah.
Because Bondtech is a third party company,
Mm-hmm.
if other manufacturers go the same route and adopt Bondtech index functionality and capability, doesn't matter if it's small companies like FlashForge or whoever,
Yeah.
Artillery, doesn't matter. It's more manufacturers using the Bondtech Bondtech's index ecosystem, which means parts are going to be more interchangeable from one system to the next.
Yeah.
Now, think about a Prusa owner. You have the need to purchase another tool, nozzle, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be more easy. It's going to be easier to get replacement parts for that. And I don't know if there's going to be third party like index nozzles, but conceivably there will be, right? There's going to be fewer options for like a Snapmaker tool head.
Yeah.
No third party is going to make a new Snapmaker tool head.
Yeah.
But like a third party might say, "Oh, this is a Bondtech index compatible nozzle." Like,
yeah, like
so,
we'll see the big Tree Techs, the Micro Swiss,
exactly.
E3D, all those people making their like, oh, it's a Bondtech nozzle, but now it's got the CHT, whatever magic sauce they put in there,
High flow, extra high flow,
everything. Yes.
What you get the diamond tip nozzles that are gonna be compatible. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't think that is gonna. I mean, it's definitely not gonna make the H2C system be like null and void, but it definitely adds a little bit of weight to the Bondtech index or the index ecosystem.
Yeah. So. And the amount of research and effort that Prusa puts into Bondtech will be open source, and for everyone who has a Voron or a custom older printer, or really, not even a custom built printer, any older printer you have will probably be able to be upgraded to an index system is crazy. Like, and it's so cheap. Like it's 200 and something, I think, for the whole tool head, and then each added nozzle is like $30 or something like that. Like,
I think it was €30, but regardless,
something like
cheap.
that. Yeah.
I mean, for me to get a new Bamboo Lab AMS2 Pro or to whatever they call it, it's like $350 for 4. and so you probably have to buy that, and you have to buy extra Vortec nozzles or whatever tools or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the maximum Vortec nozzle. I don't understand how that system works, how expandable it is, but
it's it's pretty complex. You can print up to, if you have the right combo of AMSs, I think it's between 7 is the max with no purging.
Interesting.
But you could do more than that, but it would just start to include some purging between some of the filaments. So it gets really complex with the math. It is cool that their slicer does optimize things for you. So it'll be like, okay, if you only these 2 colors are the ones we need to purge to minimize coloring and stuff.
It's not going to load a black filament into a nozzle that you were using with white filament before. Or, vice versa. It's not going to load white into a black nozzle. It's somewhat intelligent, but it still requires purging.
Yes.
But, okay, so that's great. You'd be crazy not to include that in its capabilities. However, you still need to have the $350 AMS2, and then you need to have the additional nozzles. And it's like, how about €30?
Yeah.
How about €30? That's it. Oh, 30 euro and a 60 centimeter Bowden tube. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Like,
so my next thought here is, okay, so Bondtech has been researching and developing this for over a year now. I don't know when Bamboo started but they've been doing this for a long time. They have a lot of trial and error on it. And what does it say that Prusa, arguably one of the most notable 3D printing companies in the market, chose to go with them?
Mhm.
Prusa didn't just make that decision on a whim.
Yeah.
It was calculated, and they know that the Bondtech index is good.
Yeah. They've got the engineers. Like, if they thought of a better solution would be worth the engineering, like, they totally would have gone a different route.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, this solution is worth the price, and to slap it onto all of our
Yeah.
printers, like, that's huge to make it like the official solution to multicolor printing on Prusa printers.
Really. I mean, Prusa wouldn't have made that decision official to go that route if there was like even like 1% skepticism that it was not going to be. I mean, I don't want to call it the king, but like if it wasn't going to be a very very reliable system.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Hmm.
Also, what about the future, right? Because Index is not it is not a Prusa upgrade. The Index
Hmm.
is an ecosystem. You can put it theoretically on any printer, obviously firmware, compatible, but
Yeah.
future printers, Vorons, you know that how strong the Voron community is, and people are going to now you're going to get the community involved with firmware updates and just capabilities,
Hmm.
which they're gonna leak back to Bondtech, and then they're gonna go to Prusa, and it's anyone else that's integrated it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like full circle.
Oh, yeah. And it's really cool that a third party manufacturer has made something so cool that will be so
Yeah.
broadly adopted by the community. Um, it's cool. It's got induction heating on there. I'm just Sorry, I'm scrolling through the page of all the features. I feel like that was a random jump there. But the nozzles heat up in like under 10 seconds. I feel like we were just recently talking about ceramic heaters
Yeah.
and how that was a huge jump from like the old resistive
Oh my
heating
gosh.
block. These new ones, and it's the same with the bamboo solution. It's got an inductive thing, so it's like a
Yeah.
9 second from ambient to 200 or something.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Like,
I remember back in, I say, oh, I remember as if I'm like, 60 years old.
yeah,
This is like 5 years
5 years
ago.
ago. Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
would be
would literally
five
take like,
minutes.
yeah, I was going to say 2 or 3 minutes
Yeah, no,
to
I
heat
think
up.
it's 4 or 5 minutes, or at least
It
the one
might
I
be
had
more.
that I was
It
testing
might be more.
when I switched
Yeah.
over to ceramic heater.
It might be. I think like the Ender 3 was probably maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you go back to some of the even older ones that have like
Hmm.
low power,
The 12-volt systems,
oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
it could be lower. Like just bonkers. Okay,
yeah.
10
10
seconds.
seconds,
I
boom.
remember I remember when I saw the index for the first time in person. I think I know, and I know. I've told this story
Yeah.
before. It swapped the tool, the nozzle. It swapped it. And then it just started printing right away, and I was like, "Did it preheat it?" Because I didn't realize that it was. I didn't realize that it was just a nozzle.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was like a heater and everything. I thought it swapped the whole nozzle and heater and just immediately started printing.
Because it seems
I
like it
didn't
would
know that
have
it.
to
Yeah,
heat that fast. Yeah.
I didn't know it went from cold to hot that fast. Like
Yeah.
mind blowing.
It's crazy.
It's an interesting world, and the fact that now. So I'm looking at an email that's directly from Prusa. Now they have the Bondtech index installed on a Core One. It's got 8 nozzles. It's got
Mhm.
8 nozzles on it. That's got to be the Core One L. I mean, those nozzles are tiny,
I
but
think it's the Core One. I think it's the regular
do you
Core
really think
One.
so? So on L, you've probably got even more.
You could, because I can't remember the exact spec of when the guy was explaining it at some thing. The index, like how closely you can space those nozzles out, and it's like
It's
really close. And that's kind of your limit of how many nozzles you can fit on there, just how many you can
oh
cram in
yeah,
a row on the front of your printer.
yeah. I'm trying to zoom in now on the on the picture of this Core One. Those nozzles are really
They're
close,
really close.
really close. And okay, so let's just talk about the future right now. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mentioned when the community gets involved, uh, in the index, and they want to take this to the next level. Think about, okay, so those nozzles,
Mhm.
they're rigidly mounted onto the frame of the printer, right?
Yeah.
I think that's just the most stock, basic, least amount of modification required.
Mhm.
But what if they're not mounted to the frame? What if they're mounted to, like, there's
Ooh.
8 nozzles on a bar here, 8 nozzles on a bar here, and 8 here, right? And then all 3 of those are connected to, like, an elevator shaft system,
Mhm.
and they can move up and down. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, that's so true of adding some more external, because when we were at Rapid TCT and someone had developed a full bed changer system for
Yeah.
for I think it was just printers in general.
Yeah.
And it was so like, whoa, this seems like a lot, but how reliable and, consistent. It's
It
like
just
making
works.
robotics that move something in a straight line in and out and to
Yeah.
the side. Like, it's not that hard. And if you
It's
could
basic. It's
double
just
or
move.
triple your index nozzles,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
That's linear movement. Activate a motor. Like,
uh-huh.
so from a Prusa perspective, it's not Voron. You can't just put a not like a color change,
Mhm.
extra bit of G code in there like you can with a Voron on Clipper
Yeah.
or a Clipper based machine. But theoretically, if we're talking about a Clipper based machine, it is not hard to say if your nozzle, like, make it like a 3 by 8 grid. You have
Mhm.
8, 8, 8. It's not hard to put a couple. I mean, literally a couple lines of code in there. The index would have no idea,
Mhm.
but Clipper, it just activates a motor that moves those nozzles up and down.
Yeah.
And when index is gonna be told to go get, like, nozzle 1 through 8, whichever one.
Mhm.
Well, Clipper already moved these 8 nozzles out of the into the. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm illustrating that clearly,
No,
but
yeah. Of move those 8 index, not 1 to 8, but 9 to 16,
yeah.
and or your next one. And maybe it's not on the Prusa where this happens, but on some Vorons, I could see
Oh
some
my gosh.
wild setups that people
I
create
know.
where it's like a full
And
conveyor belt rack with 100 nozzles and
so you wanna talk about reliability. You've already got your filament loaded into the nozzle. You
Mhm.
don't have to load the filament. So, like, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, when it takes time to load the filament." Okay, very true. It does take time, and that is a major concern. But along with that, there's a reliability issue dealing with these AMSs because you've got with one AMS connected to a printer, I think it's 3 or 4 sets of Bowden tubes that are connected to couplers
Yeah.
before it reaches the nozzle.
Mhm.
There's so many places that things can go wrong. Sensors galore, like, things can go wrong. Ask me how I know. I just printed
Yeah.
16 colors on a K2 Plus with 4 CFSs, and things went wrong every time. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was one out of every, probably 35 or 40 color changes, I had an error.
Ooh. Wow.
And with the index system, there's no loading
Yeah.
colors. Is align the nozzle and pick it up.
Mhm.
Good to go.
Yeah. And yeah, with
Reliability.
I feel like having less twists and bends and different extruders pulling and pushing on it. I wonder if it'll have less. I feel like my biggest issues with AMS systems is dry filament cracking in there, and
Yep.
that if this is more of a, you could, set it up however you want, so less bends and less pushing and pulling of like the different parts of the extruder
Sure.
could be way easier or way simpler. Even if you do get cracks in the Bowden tube, like you have one strand of Bowden tube, so it's like less to deal with than taking apart an AMS just because there's a little bit of filament
Oh my
crammed
gosh,
down in the
I
bottom
know.
of it. It's so annoying.
Absolutely annoying. Yeah. No, I think this index system is going to provide solutions to a lot of problems. And,
Yeah.
like, to be honest with you, I really have had very good luck with the AMS and the CFS system.
Hmm.
When I did the 16 color print on the K2 Plus, it was the first time that I ever had color changing issues. And it only happened on one CFS. I think that CFS has a sensor that's starting to go bad. I think it's my original CFS. It has a
Yeah.
lot of hours on it. But that just goes to show you that's more hardware that needs to be involved. More
Yeah.
sensors that can go bad, more boards that can be fried, or just more moving pieces that don't need to exist.
Yeah.
So I think the index is going to solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. It's a very exciting. It's crazy how much every year it's like, well, what's new going to happen this year? And it's like, oh yeah, no. Again, we're amazed by what new keeps coming out, and this is going to be a very exciting. Next year is going to be the year of multicolor 3D printing really taking off.
How many times have we said that, right? When Bamboo first came out, oh, this is going to be the year of multicolor printing. Because when Bamboo did it, Anchor Make had their 6-color machine, which failed. And we figured, oh, Creality's got something cooking, which they didn't. Or if they did, it. And then Creality came out with it. Like, oh, it's going to be the year for... And now, well, I think if we say that next year is going to be the year for multicolor printing, it might not be far off.
Yeah. I'm also excited with what the other brands come out with of like, Creality's not going to sit by with this. Like, surely ever since the U1 was such a big Kickstarter, every other brand has to be working on it. Like,
so what? Now I'm going to ask you this question. We don't have a lot of time left, but I am curious what your thoughts are. Okay. So at the beginning of the podcast, we said something to the effect of, there's 3 solutions on the market and all 3 of them are different. Creality is not in the game. They don't have any skin in the game yet. Do you think Creality is I got 4 options. Do you think they're going to go the Bamboo route, Snapmaker route, the Index route, or do you think they're going to adopt Index, or do you think they're going to copy Index? I think it's got to be one of those 4. There's just no other solutions.
I would guess they would take the Snapmaker route. It just feels the easiest in my brain of like the least moving parts, the least like complex firmware you have to write and calibrate the precision to things. It's a fairly simple in my brain. And I feel like Creality a lot of times just does that of like, let's make a good old reliable workhorse type printer. I would love if they used Bontech's solution, but buying an outside solution seems like not what Creality would do. They would go cheaper, not using an outside, more reliable solution.
No, that makes sense. I also think that they're going to go the Snapmaker route, but I think Bamboo went the route they went because they have a lot of customers that bought AMSs and AMS2s, and their route allows for the AMS to still be in the system. It means that their customers don't have dead hardware. If Creality goes the route of Snapmaker, now you have dead hardware.
Yeah. Which
so Creality make a lot of people upset.
Creality doesn't mind as much.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
As much as Bamboo Lab does about like, because Creality's done it so many times of just like kind of ending a filament at the thing. They could just maybe in between, something in between Index and Snapmaker. I could see being where they land.
I think whichever route Creality goes is probably gonna do a good job at paving the way for the future. Not because Creality just paves the future in general, but because whichever route they go means there's going to be 2 on the market already. And if there's 2 on the market already, then everyone else is going to say, oh, well, this is what most people are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be exciting.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think that's all the time we have, though. That was a pretty wild discussion. There's a lot in the world right now with multicolor, so
yeah,
we're definitely gonna keep up with the news. I think you guys probably will as well. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching.
For sure. We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.